Well. Welcome in to Take This. We have a big college football show for you today. And honestly, I'm going to jump right into it. So I'm Brad. Griff is here with me. And over the weekend, Michigan State beat Michigan. And Jim Harbaugh has somehow lost his mind. So he went on the radio this week. And he's like, there's a lot out of his control. A lot of what's it called? Factors that were out of our control, like replay, blah 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 blah. Our players deserve better. Now, Griff, hear me out. At the beginning of the year, I told you this. I don't know if Michigan is for real, and I'm not saying that they're frauds, but I don't know if they're for real. And do you know why? Jim Harbaugh still hasn't beaten an AP top 15 team on the road. That's something he hasn't done. And he has not proven himself. He went on the road to beat Wisconsin, which is great, which is a big win because it's not something he's been able to do lately. But I told you, I need a full season. Can't judge Harbaugh because he's done this before. Every year, I mean last year even, we were like, people on ESPN, this is the best team that Harbaugh has fielded. The best team. The media was like, oh, like I love this team. Same 2019, same in 2018. We heard the same thing in 2016. This is a great team that Michigan has right here. But every year, the best teams that Michigan faces always beat them. And it's always the most important games of the season, and it happens every year. Now, Griff, please, how do you feel about everything? It is, I know you have a huge rant planned, and I need you to hold it back, but God, I would be so livid.
Yeah, I mean, livid doesn't really begin to describe it. I have been off the Harbaugh train really since, whatever the first year they got blown out was, probably 2018, and then especially after 2019. I mean, it was pathetic. I'm going to say that here's my bright side, and we'll talk about the playoff in a little bit. Michigan's season is not over, weirdly enough. An 11-1 Michigan team, regardless of Big Ten championship, especially considering what we saw from the CFP rankings released yesterday, shows me that, the college football playoff committee thinks we're legit. And if we win the rest of our games, regardless of whether we go to the Big Ten championship, we probably get into the playoff. Now, so the season isn't over, but God damn it, does it feel like it is. I mean, just talking about it from a game perspective, I mean, you were up 16 points in the third quarter, and then you let Michigan State go on a 23-3 scoring run against you. I don't want to hear about the Peyton Thorne fumble. I don't want to hear about the Jalen Reed catch that was close to the dirt. I don't want to hear about Kenneth Walker's potentially fumbled touchdown, the first touchdown he scored where it looked like he might have dropped the ball before crossing the plane. I don't want to hear about it. That Peyton Thorne fumble was in the second quarter. If that was at the end of the game and you didn't get another play to do something, then I can see your argument because you didn't get to control anything else after that. It was in the second quarter. Because not only after that fumble did you get the ball back, you went down and scored a field goal before the half ended. And then you got the ball back in the beginning of the half. You had 2 picks early. You were up 16 points in the third quarter.
Should have put away the game.
And you're blaming the officials. And the quarterback roulette play, which we had said, and numerous people throughout the Michigan sports media, especially, 97.1 The Ticket, Woodward Sports, and, us, not that we're anywhere near that, but people were saying this quarterback roulette thing is going to get you killed. And look what happened. JJ, when he came in, he made that great throw to Andrell Anthony, who, by the way, bright spot, right? That's probably one of the best things I can take out of that game. And also Cade McNamara, probably played the best game of his career. And when JJ came in, he made that great throw. But then late in the game, I mean, he makes two terrible. He almost fumbles the one ball, or he does fumble it, but he doesn't get recovered, luckily. And then he fumbles the handoff to Blake Corum, which, by the way, the leader of men, Jim Harbaugh, blames the running back to protect McCarthy. And this whole thing with the quarterbacks all stems from the fact that he is scared of both of the quarterbacks' families. He is horrified of if he just tells JJ you're not playing this year unless it's garbage time, that his family will be pissed and he'll transfer. But he's also afraid, he also probably knows JJ wasn't ready. I mean, from what we saw, like you said, he's got the arm talent, but he's still learning. He's still not being safe with the ball. He's not performing at the level. He's got the untapped talent, but it's not been fully cultivated yet. And so, but the thing is, Cade's got to be pissed because he played a damn near perfect game on Saturday. A few overthrows aside, he threw for a gazillion yards. He didn't commit many errors. I mean, I feel like if you're his family and him, you also got to be thinking, Coach, I played a good game. Why am I getting punished? So it shows the utter lack of ability. He just couldn't make a decision and go with it. He tried to appease both sides. And I think the reality was he just needed to not play JJ at all this year. And if that means he walks, it's a difficult situation, but it probably cost you that game.
Okay, but at the same time, if JJ, and I get that, right? That seems to be the reason why JJ is even playing to begin with. The weird part
is because they don't want him to transfer.
The weird part to me, though, is that if you're JJ McCarthy and you are the best QB on the roster, right? What are the quarterback with the best upside, right? Would you agree that JJ is the quarterback with the best upside on Michigan's depth chart?
Best upside, but Cade has the higher floor.
But the problem that I have with that, though, is that if you're JJ, you're gonna get the start later, so why would you leave? And I know the transfer rules are different now, so players can just leave.
And that's true. And not to say that, obviously I'm not saying this is Michigan is a premier program because they win all the time, because they haven't. But I'm saying Michigan is a big name program. They are always going to be at the top of a conversation.
It's a destination
because
school.
They're Michigan, regardless of how good they are. So again, like you said, if you're JJ, and that's what I think Harbaugh as a coach needs to tell him. Hey, Cade waited his turn in line, and he's playing well enough to keep the starting job. You're a freshman. You have 3 more years after this. You're gonna ride the bench this year, but then after, if the other issue is Cade isn't a senior, so it's how long do you do it? But we're gonna ride the lightning with Cade, and next year we'll reassess, and you're probably gonna start next year. You tell him that.
Yeah, and I mean,
and then guess what? If Cade still wins the QB battle in camp, if Cade McNamara, as I think he's a senior next year, still wins the QB battle in camp, and JJ doesn't start in his sophomore year, then maybe he wasn't as good as we thought, and him going to the transfer portal is not that big of a deal. Right. Now, that's the game itself. You got Tuck came, all right? Tuck was coming, Tuck came, and he outcoached your ass, all right? But I think this is what gets me more. You blew the game, but hey, you know what? You play, despite the coaching errors and how poor the defense looked at times, you played well. I mean, when the running game didn't work, hey, your passing game actually showed up. A thing I was worried about. Your passing game showed up. You threw for a shit ton of yards. Even if you take the Andrell Anthony touchdown away as the one big play, you still threw for, I think, almost 300, 400 yards. So you did show, hey, when your running game gets snubbed, you can rely on passing the ball. Granted, Michigan State's defense and their secondary specifically, nothing fantastic, but hey, when your passing game works, it works.
No, and Cade didn't
do
anything.
But it's what happened after the game.
Cade did not do anything to admit JJ being in there. Like, he didn't do. Cade played great. Like, he didn't play poorly.
And at the end of the game,
so he should not have been replaced.
As far as the last drive, why JJ was in there, apparently he was in the tent, which
I don't know if is true or isn't true.
It might not. Like, I know Doug Karsh, who is on 97 Won the Ticket, who is the sideline reporter for the radio broadcast for U of M, has said he saw him go into the tent. So I don't know. But regardless, if it was because of an injury, then your hands were tied. If it's not, then that's obviously not great. But that, the loss is the loss. It's driven me nuts all week, obviously, I've had to like mute a bunch of words on Twitter because I just can't stand it. Like, this was worse than getting blown out because we had the lead and we choked it. And just seeing Spartan fans rightfully brag, it hurts. And then for Harbaugh to come out this week and say, there were things we couldn't control. Our guys deserve better because the calls plural, by the way. So he's not just talking about the Peyton Thorne fumble. Calls plural went against us. Michigan State, when they went against Indiana and they won 20-15, that was the worst officiated game I've ever seen against Michigan State. 17 penalties, I think 13 were accepted against Michigan State, 3 against Indiana. And guess what Michigan State did? They didn't make excuses. They won the fucking game. They made plays.
So
this game,
real quick,
Michigan State down 16 points. You know what they did? Made plays. 2 big third down conversions. Made both of their 2-point conversions.
They were fourth down conversions. They were
did I say third? I meant to say fourth
Michigan
down
State did not have a third down conversion until the fourth quarter of this game. How the fuck do you lose to a team that doesn't convert a single third down until the last 15 minutes of the game? How does that happen? What the fuck do you have to do wrong in order for you to choke that badly? How does that? I don't understand the how that happens at all.
So for Harbaugh to then come out and say, we got snubbed by the refs. No, the game was officiated fairly well. Like, were there some holding calls missed? Yeah, but anyone who's played football or has watched football for any decent period of time knows holding probably happens on every single play in football in every level. NFL, NCAA, high school football, like, it happens. So, like, you're not going to always be able to rely on that call.